Good afternoon. Thanks for coming. Recap of Saturday's game from our standpoint of MVPs of the game. Junior Vander Ross, excellent game. Big explosive plays on offense. Thought he did a really good job blocking the perimeter as well. Jacquez Stewart, massive kickoff return, was our special teams MVP, and I think that unit did a really good job and has the entire season. So it was good to see that one of those spit out of there, and for him to get one-on-one with the kicker, and that was all she wrote once that happened. Manuel McNeil-Warren, I thought was outstanding on defense, pass breakups in the backfield on safety pressures, a couple of nice pass breakups, where he had to really come down and make a tough play, and then, solid tackling at safety. So 3 highlighted individual efforts, lots of guys graded out with high grades and did a really good job. Continue to improve here from week 2 to week 3. Obviously we got a massive opponent this weekend in Mississippi State going to SEC school, and I know it'll be a great crowd, great environment, and I know these kids in this meeting room here are looking forward to the challenges that lie ahead. So, that being said, I'll take your questions.
Jason, you had a huge amount of tackles for loss and sacks on Saturday. I mean, when you guys play Illinois, Notre Dame, whoever, Northern Illinois against Notre Dame, you see like that side of the ball, the MAC team kind of establishes himself. How critical do you think that is Saturday?
Well, I think any college football games, it's really won and lost at the line of scrimmage, and we sometimes get enamored by highlight type plays, but those don't happen if it's not blocked up correctly on the front, and certainly the defensive front, the ability to disrupt and change the quarterback's rhythm and change his pattern and how he processes things, that's critical. And we were really good at that Saturday, and I thought that we missed a couple opportunities to get the quarterback actually on the ground, even though we got to him. So point of emphasis to keeping the cage there and keeping the guy in the pocket, but give that kid from UMass a lot of credit. Stout player, big-bodied guy that stood in there and made a couple really tough throws, and was able to get away from us a couple times and make some plays. But I think it all starts and ends with how you play on the offense and defensive lines.
Yeah, I mean, not only did you have a lot of those numbers, there was a lot of different players who did it. The depth on the line, I mean, when you get into the second half, fourth quarter of these games, is that something that will kind of bode well for you guys?
Well, I mean, I think I give, Frank, Coach Holcomb, a lot of credit there. I mean, sometimes some of this depth was developed by necessity. You're talking about 2 guys last year that had really tough injuries and hard to come back from, which created a lot of rotation at defensive end. And you look back at as good as Terrence Taylor was, you could make the argument that when he went down, Jerry Peters was just as good, if not better. You can make the argument when he got hurt that Sean Holt did the same thing. So, testament to the development of the defensive, front by the defensive coaches, testament to those players of doing a really good job of, staying in there mentally. Some young players have a really hard time. If you're not that guy, you maybe miss your moment when your time comes. And you can sit in front of the meeting room and tell them each and every day that your time is going to come at some point in time. But, sometimes that's in one ear and out the other. And I think give those kids a lot of credit for staying ready. And when they had their opportunities, they capitalized on them.
You still have some players from the 2021 Notre Dame game. Obviously, most of them played last year at Illinois. How much does it help that they've experienced those environments and played well in them?
Yeah, I mean, I think experience is a great teacher. Obviously you want to, you try to paint a picture of what every game's going to look like. You try to preview as much as you possibly can, and before they actually have to view it. So I think I think that does help that they've been in those moments before, and I think that this team has played everybody on our roster, other than maybe the new guys that have been here, played in championship games. So, and there's not a lot of freshmen that are that are playing for us. So, most of these guys that'll be on the field have experienced big game situations and big game moments. It's different for us this year because it's the first time it's been on the road. It's the first road game for us. We got to handle the trip. We got to handle all the things that are around the 100-yard field, right? And then so we can be the best version of ourselves when we get in between those white lines.